Hey there. I'm getting ready to pack up to go hike the Tuscarora Trail. It's really a dark video because it is really dark outside. It's pouring rain, and I really hope that it's not going to be raining. What am I thinking? Because there's nothing worse than hiking through the eastern forest in the cold, pouring April rain. But anyway, I'm getting my stuff together tonight, and I just thought I'd take a second to talk a little bit about food that I'm carrying. What I'm packing right now. So start out with I have these pack stacks from Oatmeal. They're a waterproof pouch. They have a little handle on them. This is Pack Stack Pro, so it's waterproof. I got these last year. Hillsound's the same company that makes like microspike type traction devices and the tall gators. You've probably seen them. I wear them. And then also, they started making these, and they're pretty great. I used it a good bit last year, and they seemed really highly water resistant. I did get a little puddle on my bikepacking trip on the C&O Canal inside my boot bag, but that was like a torrential downpour for several hours, and it was a bike, so it was on the back of the bike, and you know, it was a little bit in the backpack, and you hook inside a waterproof, like a cash compactor bag liner when I'm hiking, so a little bit different. But anyway, I really like these. They fit really well in the pack. They're designed to go in the pack. I'll link these if you're interested in checking them out. They're not actually that heavy for a waterproof bag. And the video started, I have a smaller one that I put my sleep clothes in, my extra clothes. And then I use this. It's kind of the only stuff sack I really use anymore. I like using this when I have big food carries, which my first section of Tuscarora is going to be a 4-day carry. It might go into 4.5 days, but I'm only taking 4 days of food, so hopefully it's 4 days. For the normal, I've got my good to go meals. I've got 4 of those packed. Those are my go-to dinner. It ensures I get at least one really well-balanced meal. I'm taking some rest. I started using this a few years ago. A lot of people probably don't like it just because it leaves this kind of pretty residue that you kind of just have to take real fast at the end. It's basically because magnesium doesn't dissolve in water very well. But I find that when I'm hiking, especially, a magnesium supplement with a little bit of extra electrolytes and stuff at the end of the day is really good. So I've been doing this instead of like a tea. I do like a hot noon. Usually I drink this as like an appetizer while I'm waiting for my good to go meal to soak. So usually when I get into camp, I make the meal first because they take 15 to 20 minutes to soak, and then I'll make enough hot water to do that, and then the leftover I just make a hot noon rest. I actually really like those a lot. I have my little canister of Matcha Powder. This is from Malt Bell, the canister with matcha. And I really like it. You've probably seen my other posts where I go on about the little matcha set. This is kind of a heavy container to me, very backpacking, but it was full from my recent road trip, so I just threw it in here because, oh well, I didn't really, when I carry matcha in a plastic baggie, it ends up getting kind of sticky, and I haven't found a good organic individual packaged matcha. Plus, I don't really like the individual packaging when I already buy the matcha in bulk, so I'm willing to carry a little extra weight on this trip. Ask me about that when I'm climbing some of those rocky mountains. Got my CS coffees, ones that I alternate with, really good instant coffee. I alternate that with matcha. Those are kind of my odds and ends that are in here right now. Got some ginger chews. I have a random packet of salmon that is left over from a road trip that I put in here because I feel like a lot of times I just randomly have like protein cravings when I'm on the trail. I actually put my vitamins in here. This is not actually Noon vitamins, it's actual vitamins. I think I just have a multivitamin for this trip. But I like to reuse my Noon containers, put my vitamins in. And I made my own breakfast. I have a whole video on my souped up oatmeal. Sometimes I'll use the Good to Go oatmeal or granola. This time I just used my Bob's Red Mill gluten-free that I had at home because we're not doing boxes, so it's really only 4 days. So I just made my first 4 days worth, and I'll just be at the mercy of apparently Food Lions for the rest of this trail. I haven't been in a Food Lion for like 20 years. So I'm not really sure. It's a regular supermarket. I'm sure it'll be fine, but apparently that's what they have. I got this creamer that I use for my coffee and matcha, matcha latte. I don't really love it, but I got it at grocery outlet and it was cheap. And it's really hard to find like a good like creamer, I guess. I'm pretty picky. This is coconut based. That's alright. I throw some of it in my breakfast for extra calories too, so I'm taking the whole package because it's expiring. I wouldn't normally probably carry this much otherwise, but I'll probably put it in my meals and stuff, but just like extra calories because it's coconut, so it can go savory or sweet. I got a couple packages of peanut butter. In case you hadn't heard, my favorite flavor is spice chai. They now make it in these big 3 packages. I'm really excited about that because one of my favorite hiking snacks is to put that on dates, so nut butter and dates. It's a little messy, but it's a great fast burn plus slow burn natural food source. So I've got dates and trail butter as snacks, and a couple other random things, nuts and chocolate that mostly like my mother-in-law has given me random some dark chocolate, which I don't normally eat, but she gave it to me for Easter, so I'm taking it. I really like these Nature's Bakery. I use the gluten-free ones, obviously. The pomegranate is really good. I think they make more flavors in their non-gluten-free, but they're pretty good. So I have a few of those packed. And then I use these Go Macro bars. These are also, I think they're more of an acquired taste for most of them, but this flavor called Smooth Sanctuary, I don't know. I randomly bought this at Trader Joe's, and it's like the only one of their bars that I really like. Most of them are fine, but they kind of have that texture of the old school Pro Bar. If any of you remembers that, I mean, probably some of you watching this weren't even born when those were coming out. But the old school Pro Bars, these are better. They have a much better texture than that, but they're reminiscent of that. So I think about that when I'm eating these. But this flavor I actually really like, but I only ever see it at Trader Joe's. I don't ever see it anywhere else. So I've only got one. And then I usually take some seaweed, just for some iodine and micronutrients. So I've got some seaweed packets. And then you've probably seen recently I started working with this company, Gather Nuts. I really love their products. I have some rosemary, olive oil, almonds, and some chocolate coffee cashews, which are divine. So I started working with them actually because a good friend of mine recommended them to me, but especially back when I used to eat vegan, I spent a lot of time soaking and sprouting nuts and seeds because it makes them more bioavailable and more nutritious. And when I was vegan, I was eating like massive amounts of nuts to get my protein, and I think that actually skewed my omega balance. So I try to take it easy now. I have a more balanced diet now, but I still love to eat nuts, especially on trail. And like obviously the trail butter is not sprouted, but it works just fine to eating that. But if I want to eat that and other nuts, it can get to be too much. So I was really excited to find these. I'm rambling, but basically this company soaks the nuts to remove the enzyme inhibitors, and then they roast them. So basically it's the steps that I always used to do, but like every time I roasted them afterwards, they kind of came out mushy and gross. So they definitely weren't anywhere near as amazing as these are. And they also make them in really yummy flavors. So if you like fueling with nuts on trail, especially if you ever have issues with like gastric upset when you're on trail, like and it's like something you can't figure out why it keeps happening, you're eating a lot of nuts, I recommend trying this brand, Gather Nuts, because they soak them. I mean, you can try soaking and sprouting your own or soaking and roasting your own too. But I definitely feel like that definitely makes nuts a lot more nutritious and easily digestible. So anyway, I got a couple boxes, full bags of those. And then my salty crunchy, I eat these DIK brand. They're pretty good grain-free chips. I don't know, they're good. They're expensive, so but I've definitely recently realized that I struggle with non-organic root vegetables. They give me a lot of the same symptoms as if I was eating gluten or gluten-contaminated foods. But that's like a whole other thing. So anyway, I've really just tried to either only eat organic sweet potatoes and potatoes, or to do like a grain-free chip like that, made with cassava and coconut and chia and avocado. So they're good if you are on several different types of restricted diet, not just gluten-free. So that's basically my food for 4 days. I'll probably throw some cheese in there just because I have a package of cheddar. It's not cheddar, it's Kerrygold. I don't know if that's even cheddar, but whatever, hard cheese that's open in the fridge, and I'm not going to finish it before we leave, so that'll go with me. And then yeah, I think that's basically it for the first 4 days of the Tuscarora, and I will keep you apprised of how it goes.